Hey guys, thank you so mumuch for joining me for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update, guys. So glad you guys could be here. Of course, today is February 27th. Foul year of our Lord 2019, guys. Of course, I'm Justin Wise, your host for today's show, lead analyst at Cryptocurrency.com. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic on this nice, glorious day. It seems the snow has stopped falling outside where I'm at. The icicles are still hanging down to the ground. I continue to take pictures of that and document their length. I think this is an important task for science, guys. I really do think it is. Hopefully the microphone is fixed. I kind of messed with it a little bit, so guys, let me know in the chat if there's anything going wrong. I see a lot of people in here this morning. Eli back. Hey, what's going on? You know, we always look at IOP, my good friend. We will look at IOP. Jasper, what's going on, man? Frank got in Cat Swam. We got Dagwood. Good to see Mastash. Chinasis Fee, good to see you, man. Wayne Arden says Litecoin is the right coin, man. Right on. We are talking about, I don't even know if I can pronounce that, man. Holy dear Lord. Nope, I'm not going to try. There's too many consonants in that. Too many consonants in there. So anyways, okay, guys, as always, top of the show, guys. If you guys don't know what we do or what we're about, if you guys want to trade along with us, guys, the banner's at the top of the screen if you're interested in the services that we offer. Let's head right over and talk about what's still going on, of course. Bam. Still giving away 5 masternodes worth of X42, and there's only 4 days left, guys. We're almost there. I will be so happy if we could break that $2,000 entry barrier, man. We broke the $1,000 entry barrier. I didn't think we could do it, but you guys have been overwhelmingly fantastic and supportive and enthusiastic in your support of X42 in the community. So again, the way we do giveaways, guys, we only support and promote projects that we like, that we believe in, that we use. We didn't receive any payment to sponsor X42. We're just friends with the community, friends with the team, and we think it's a good project. And they've been gracious enough to give away X42. So we're putting them on because they're a good project, and crypto's been hit hard, guys. So we need to support the community, guys. If you want crypto to work, you've got to get out there and do things for it. So 4 days left in the competition, guys. I'd be really, really thrilled if we could break that $2,000 barrier. Giving away, again, 5 lucky people will get enough X42 to run their own masternode. So let's see here. Oh, slight announcement. Let's see. So starting tomorrow through March 5th, we've had a lot of requests and interest in cracking cryptocurrency merch, coffee mugs, t-shirts, all that cool stuff. We are going to have a 15% discount on everything in the merch store from from tomorrow to March 5th. So Scott did ask me to mention that. That should be up on the website and everything, so you guys can see that and get that clicked. But it's just right here at the top of the store for the merch. All right, that's about it, guys. Also, we do have a couple people contributing to the blog now, so make sure you go check out those articles on the crackingcryptocurrency.com blog, talking about the Ethereum Constantinople hard fork and the Tron hard fork that is coming up later this week. With that said, guys, let's get right into the charts. All right. Well, that looks pretty gosh darn boring, doesn't it? Oh my dear Lord, look at that. Absolutely flat, nothing going on. Wick City, people getting wrecked. Now, I'll give you my personal opinion on what's going on. Generally, when we see consolidation that gets this tight, we've only seen this a few times, guys. Well, it's not that we've only seen it a few times. It's just that the same thing happens every single time it happens, guys. And that is a fairly volatile movement following. Generally in the opposite direction, but sometimes it can also be continuation. So we do see it here at the top. This was back during the top of January 2019. If you guys have been following the show, we've been very logically consistent about this, guys. Overall, Bitcoin in a trading range between 3,000 and 4,000 hasn't broken up, hasn't broken down. It's kind of a no man's land. You short resistance and you long support. It's that simple, guys. And the same thing applies to when you're playing a trading range. For example, generally, and I talked about this yesterday, but I think this is a very important thing to help individuals master their emotional control and really just to put trading a range into perspective, okay? When you have a tight range, right, where price is going down and price is going up, right, got a median line, you're only going to break out or break down one time. It only happens one time, okay? So when you are looking at a chart, and you're in a trading range. Let's go to the 15-minute chart so I can demonstrate this, so I can really show what's going on here. Let's pop over here, guys, and let's go back to our regular Japanese candlestick so we can kind of see pretty clearly what's going on. Okay, so here we've got a 15-minute range for Bitcoin's price action ever since the not capitulation, that's the wrong term, but ever since the dump from the previous range high. Now, As we're seeing this, we have a lot of individuals that are trying to short here, okay? And this is denoted by simply going to tensorcharts.com, looking at the amount of long liquidations that are occurring at this point in time. So a lot of longs are getting liquidated, and individuals are attempting to short into that market equilibrium because they think that the market's going to continue moving down. They think this is a breakdown moment, but then the range establishes a little bit more, and then you get a situation like this where people think the price is going to break to the upside. You have a lot of individuals buying long into the situation. They're trying to short here. They're trying to buy here. They're trying to I mean, it just happens over and over and over again because the mentality, the logic is that it's breaking out. I got to get in. FOMO. And that's the wrong approach to take with trading. You need to take a logical step back and realize that when you're in a tight range, bots, algos, and savvy traders are going to counter trend trade breakout traders. One of the most successful strategies in trading is fading breakouts and longing breakdowns. It's just that simple, guys. And you're going to be right. You're going to be right every time, but once. You're going to be right every time but once. When you're in a trading range and you see a upthrust on high volatility and then you see a big wick, if you try to long into that, that's the wrong maneuver. You're only going to be right one time in a trading range, and you're going to be wrong every other time, and you're probably going to get wrecked. Whereas if you counter trade that, you're going to be right every single time, and you're only going to be wrong once. The idea is to establish yourself a nice tight trading range, and this is what I spoke with the guys in the members lounge this morning. And that's basically how they've been. Trading this, day trading this for the last couple days. So, shout out to them. I know we've got some really good successes in there. So, my position really hasn't changed a whole lot. Still holding on to a position of my short from 41.14 on XBT USD. This is obviously the tether chart, but I have established a small position of XBT M19 to hedge against that. So basically, just play in the range. We'll see which one breaks. I've tried to be again, nothing's really changed in my setup. This is, overall, I'm looking for opportunities in other coins. But if we're just looking at the BitMEX chart here, for example, we do have basically an equilibrium range between 38.53 and 37.31. You could logically take the breakout on good volume to either side. You could also trade the tighter range. So if you're looking at the tighter range, you've basically got 38.15 to roughly, let's say, 37.75. Okay. If you get a good full candle body close on good volume, you have to wait for the candle to close. You have to wait for a meso time for a candle to close. You can use the 3 hour, you can use the 8 hour. It's your personal preference. But if you get a nice full candle body close above this tight consolidation range on good volume, then most likely that will be continuation in the direction of the breakout. It has to be a full candle body close, and it has to have decent volume, generally unnatural volume as indicated on time transformation, or you can just look for a high amount of volume above the moving average. So, the overall plan, my overall plan still remains the same. I still do view the previous equilibrium zone of 39.30 to 39.50 as areas to probably apply a short. It seems a logical area as we retest supply. The reason why is because when you have an area that you expect to act as supply, so you have a lot of individuals setting blind limit orders there. Why? If we look at, let's look at Japanese candlesticks so we can kind of highlight this a little bit more clearly. We have consolidation here, and we have breakout from consolidation, okay? So we're looking for an SR flip. If price is to pull back from here, if we're going to continue the bullish uptrend, the logical place to place limit orders, the logical order to place bids is at previous resistance, right? The source of the breakout. There's multiple reasons for that. The primary reason is because it's just classical trading. Resistance becomes support, support becomes resistance, okay? There's also an extreme amount of demand there because there was aggressive initiation. That's the primary reason. That's the reason when you're looking at supply and demand. The reason why is because we had a lot of individuals market buying into that breakout, right? That did buy at the right time because they saw the writing on the walls. And so when price returns to that area, you would expect buyers to defend their buy-in positions, right? By DCAing, by purchasing more, or by other interested traders looking at the previous zone saying, it's just that simple. Hey, this was a successful place for other individuals to buy. Maybe I should set some buys here as well. So that's why support becomes resistance, because when resistance is broken, it sends a signal to traders that purchasing at this area was successful for the people who did it last time. So perhaps I will be successful if I buy there as well. But when you have a situation where support is completely disrespected and broken through on high momentum, it generally acts as resistance on the next retest of that area. It returns to what its original purpose was as resistance. Why? Because now you have a lot of trapped buyers that did buy there. So as soon as price returns to an area where they can sell at break even, that's the logical thing to do, is to sell at break even. For example, So for example, personally, I had taken an ETH USD scalp to the long side yesterday. I'd watched the paint dry on Ethereum basically all day, and I got into a position. Everything kind of lined up. I got a buy signal on my indicator. Things looked good, and so I took the trade. Price wibble wobbled around for a little bit, pulled against me toward the end of the night as I was getting ready to go to bed. And again, I was getting ready to go to bed, so it was a situation where I didn't want to have additional risk. Was it a big deal? No, I could have kept the trade open. And actually, the story that I'm about to finish is that would have worked out well. But what I'm trying to say is that price returned to my entry position, right? Price had dipped down on me a little bit. I was underwater, not panicking, because we're in a range. So am I going to sell at the bottom of the range? Absolutely not, right? Because I'm going to be right 9 times out of 10, the price will come back up to retest and move to the range, at least back to the equilibrium zone, giving me an opportunity to get out of break even. I'm only going to be wrong one time that, we're really breaking down from here. This is the end. I better flip short. No, that's the absolute wrong thing to do. But price pulled back to my break-even zone, and actually a slight profit. I mean, we're talking maybe like 0.25% profit. So it was overall a break-even trade in my book. But I took the opportunity to get out of break-even. Why? Because I wanted to go to bed. It had just been one of those days. Now, some of the traders in the group did not exit at break-even, and obviously Ethereum ended up pumping and hitting all our range, upper zone of the range targets. Now, had I been awake or just waking, I probably would have held on to the trade. But that's just an opportunity or an example of the logical thing to do is to actually reduce your risk, right? Because if you get out at break even or slight profit, you've lost nothing, right? So it's opportunity cost versus risk. So all the trapped buyers who did purchase around that 39.30, 39.50 area, buying into the breakout, as price returns to that zone for XBT, the logical thing for them to do is to sell at break even. It doesn't matter if price goes higher, right? This is not a game. Trading is not a game of I made a great trade, therefore I'm a great trader. Anybody can make a great trade. Anybody can get lucky. This is a game of averages over time, statistical probability, and taking the logical setups and reducing risk in a predictable fashion, right? I know many traders who I know a lot of people that had made a lot of money in 2017. A lot of money in 2017, right? It's pretty easy, right? All you needed was a momentum oscillator. Oh, price is oversold, buy, right? That's all you needed to do. Pretty much any cryptocurrency for the majority of 2017. 2 good bull runs in 2017. And they think they're great traders, right? I mean, crypto Twitter was spawning with individuals who were posting charts with garbage on them, honestly, in my personal opinion. But, that's not to cast aspersions or shade on anybody else that does their charting. I respect anybody who tries to step their foot into these turbulent waters. But the reality is that a couple good trades does not a good trader make you. Being able to do this day in and day out over time and reduce your risk and consistently make profit, that is what makes a person a consistent trader. And I would argue that reducing your losses is more indicative of how good of a trader you are rather than how many wins that you get, right? That's the first step. If you can manage your money in a way, because only 4 things can happen when you make a trade, right? Well, technically 5, but 4 big things can happen. You can have a big win, you can have a little win, you can have a big loss, or you can have a little loss, right? You could break even, but I generally consider that a little loss, right? So if you can just eliminate that big loss from your category of 4 options that can happen for a trade. If you can just take out big loss, if you can just remove that, right? So all that you've got left is big win, little loss. Great. You are 75% better than just about every other trader out there in the game. If you can reduce the big loss from your category. Let's see here. All right, so after that brief rant, so let's just give an update, guys. There's not a whole lot to be done here, guys. I still have a perspective that this most likely does actualize to the upside. However, there are things that are negative, right? Classical things that are negative, right? If we look at this, for example, and let's look at Higanashi. Well, actually, it's going to be more appropriate looking at regular candlesticks. But this does look like your classical continuation of a downside pattern, right? You have a very high momentum movement downward. You have an attempted spike back up. It gets sold into and rejected. You have kind of higher lows, equidistant highs pattern. Robert, thank you so much for the $10, man. Talking about preaching truth, man. Preach, brother, preach. Thank you so much for the support, man. You're one of the good ones, bro. So typically when you do see this kind of chart formation and pattern, it generally is continuation to the downside, right? Individuals will call it a rising wedge. Individuals will call it a bear flag. It doesn't really matter. Price contraction is what matters. Price action is what really matters. The reflection chart patterns are only useful insofar as they can reflect to you in a comprehensible fashion what is price doing, because price action really tells you all you need to know. And what do we see here? So let's disable trend transformation for a little bit so that it will stop repainting bars. And let's just look at price action, okay? We can see generally in a bear flag, what bear flags tell us, what rising wedges tell us, is that the strength is to the bulls, but that the buying pressure, the demand, is petering out, right? And that the bears have not stepped in strong demand. Now, classically, all you're looking at in a chart is pretty simple for looking at what side has the most strength, buying pressure or selling pressure, and you're gonna execute a trade at an opportune level that is in the direction of the underlying trend, right? So, for example, when we see something like this, for example, right? Now, a chart pattern like this, a situation like this, right, is in the short term an opportunity to be short. Why? Because you see, based on the size of the candlesticks and the volume of the candlesticks, that selling pressure is much stronger, right? So this is a situation, and as you guys recall back during this period, when we have nice little barting patterns like this, I'm really not interested in entering a trade. Again, one of the things that I try to teach is how to day trade and scalp this by essentially fading breakouts and longing breakdowns whenever you're in any kind of consolidation range. On BitMEX, it's a very profitable strategy, but again, manage your risk through position sizing, right? It's not about leverage, it's about position sizing, right? That's one of my big gripes. But in the long term, you can see the strength of the buying from these two candlesticks right here on the 8-hour chart. So significant strength from the bulls, breakout of consolidation at a significant level of support on the higher time frames. So this lets you know that in the midterm, the strength is to the bulls. The strength is to the buying side. So from a midterm perspective, these are opportunities to establish long positions. We got confirmation of that on the lower time frames. If you guys recall, I had drawn the pitchfork pattern on this, which is kind of the only chart pattern that I do like to use because I think it's an accurate representation of price. You guys can go check out my video on pitchforks. I need to update that. But anyways, just with better audio, you guys can see what the videos were like when I first started, when I was shooting videos on my laptop a couple of years ago. We had a significant change in this descending trend right here, where we convincingly close above the pitchfork midline, and then we have confirmation here when we break out of consolidation on good volume, continuation of the uptrend, right? And then here we have very nice, beautiful ascending triangle pattern, essentially where you see again the buying pressure remains the buying pressure remains with the buyers because we are putting in higher lows, and we have equidistant supply. Generally, that breaks to the upside as it indicates that demand is increasing as supply is not able to push demand down. Okay. Now, price action, if we just look at price action, it would seem to indicate that the buyers in general have more strength at this point in time, right? That in the short term, right? In the short term. So scalping this range, you would generally be looking for long positions with a short-term time frame, right? But again, if we zoom out with the midterm time frame, we see the very strong selling pressure of the sellers, okay? So the strong volume pressure of the sellers. So in the midterm, this would logically be seen as an opportunity to establish short positions. So with all that said, I do think that this is most likely to push up higher. I really do think that it's most likely to push up higher. I think we're likely to see a retest of the breakdown zone and a continuation of the downtrend. Okay, but that's analysis, and we'll see what price action does and confirms in response. The way that I'm dealing with this strategically is that I still have a profitable short position opened up. I have not added to my position yet. I will add to my position upon a confirmation of the breakdown of the zone, which is going to indicate a full candle body close out of the zone on strong volume. And I currently have a small XBT M19 hedge, roughly about 30% of my original position, to hedge against the descent. Now, I still have actually bid orders placed lower to get my fill on XBT M19 where I'd like it, and I'm not super thrilled with the volatility, but it just is. It just is what it is. Okay, let's interact with the chat a little bit, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing well, man. You know, I keep seeing that word, Jasper, and I am tempted to try to say it. On the Jivistem-pot mit spectus. Did I do it? Yay? Probably not. Everybody probably hates me. I just lost all the Dutchies in the audience. All right. What's up, BitConnect bros? Did you say arbitraging.com? Valera Izatov, good morning from Vancouver, Washington. What's going on, man? Dream Piercing Maya, howdy. Hi from Hungary. Good to see you, Susai. Susie? Marcus Walker, good to see you too, man. Wayne Arndt says, you and Crypto Capital Venture are the best crypto YouTubes. Thank you, man. I highly appreciate that, dude. Crypto Not says, I do the X42 if I had a Twitter. Hey, man, you can, if you've got, you don't have to have a Twitter. You can use your email. You can use your Discord. You can use your Facebook. You can use Discus. I don't even know what that is, but it's on there. Yeah, man, there's all kinds of ways that you can enter without having Twitter. Theo Wilson says, unless it's a fake out, then it breaks out 1.5 times. 60% of the time, it's right every time. I think that's going to be the description of the next indicator that I put up on TradingView. Frank Godding says, what is the benefit of Heikinashi versus normal candles? They filter out noise. Look at ZERP H19. I'll give it a chance, man. But I had a fairly, not a big losing trade on ZERP H19, but I got out at I was able to get out at a better entry. So kind of just gonna sit and pause on XRP H19. I'm still inclined to take a stab at it, but I'm gonna sit here and watch price consolidate for a little bit. It's still kind of paint drying. Really what I'm looking for on ZERP H19, to be quite honest with you, because I would like to reestablish a position in it, is I'm looking for a volume spike, right? If I get a volume spike to the downside and I see a lot of liquidations, I'll probably enter. Right now, it's just trending slowly down into the ocean. Jake Rezio says, hey, what's going on, man? I know you don't take chart patterns too seriously. It depends on the chart pattern, but it seems to me wedge patterns have a good record of indicating a major break up or down. They can. In my experience, wedges actually have the least reliability as for which direction they're going to break. Now, wedges do generally indicate that something is going to happen because they typically denote price contraction, which is the most important thing because low volatility precedes high volatility. So I am expecting a pretty high volatility movement out of this consolidation period. Again, I think the most logical thing is a retest of the 39.30, 39.50 area, and then continuation of the downside. However, should we get above 39.50 on a convincing basis and reclaim that level, that's the equilibrium zone. If we reclaim equilibrium, then again, just as I said yesterday, we'll probably go higher. I'll be out of the last of my short, and I'm going to establish a long position if that does happen. However, should we continue to the downside, I think we're going to go down for quite a little bit and retest the range lows. Now, I would like to take this moment to just do a public service announcement for the individuals who are not approaching cryptocurrency as just trading, because you have to understand that when it comes to Bitcoin, right? So this is just me personally, so I don't want to offend anybody, but let's take ZERP off the table. Let's take Litecoin off the table. Let's take ETH off the table. Let's just Bitcoin, guys. Okay. This is just my thoughts on Bitcoin, right? And Ethereum, but mostly Bitcoin, right? We've seen nothing but positive news in Bitcoin development, right? Lightning Node is growing huge. We have massive institutional interest in Bitcoin. As I'm going to go over in the news here a little bit, like the NASDAQ is launching futures, Bakkt is launching futures. That stuff's not going away, guys. We're going to have ETFs, we're going to have funds, we're going to have all kinds of things in the coming future. It just takes patience and it just takes time, guys. There's going to be a lot of money flowing into the space. Nothing has changed fundamentally. Crypto isn't useless. Crypto is revolutionary, and it is and will change the world. It already has. Okay, there's no, you can't unclose Pandora's box. Okay, so having said that, I do want to make sure that you guys understand that I have no intentions of missing the next bull run. Okay, I still have a spot position in Bitcoin. I talked about that at length, and I do think that overall, regardless of whether price, let's look at the weekly time frame. Let's look at the monthly. Okay, so regardless of whether price goes to 2,000 or 1,700, okay, I do strongly believe that this range between $3,000 to $4,000 represents a good entry position for the long term for Bitcoin. Okay, individuals where it's back when Bitcoin was $20,000. People screamed and begged and cried for cheaper Bitcoin, right? And this is a meme, but I'd like to take the memery out of it and just approach this logically, okay? If you're watching this video, okay, if you're watching this video, I assume that you are bullish long-term on Bitcoin, right? Might be a few of you out there who just, are sitting back in the weeds like, it's going to zero. This dude sucks at life, right? And that could be possible, but, overall, just ask yourself, if you have long-term faith in Bitcoin and you're looking to establish an investment entry position, right? Looking at these price areas for dollar cost averaging makes a lot of sense to me, okay? So just keep that in mind, guys. Doesn't really matter. Could price go down another 50%? It could, yeah, absolutely. But I think that will be short-lived. Because opportunities to buy the bottom typically they appear and they disappear in minutes, like literally minutes. So we have so many people obsessed with catching the bottom. 99.99% of you will not do that, right? 99.99% of you are going to have an opportunity to buy fairly low. You're going to tell yourself, no, I'm going to wait until it's cheaper, when price is already really, really, really cheap right now, guys. And you're going to miss it, and you're probably going to buy at a higher price. Just saying. I am not recommending that you just go all in on Bitcoin at this point in time. I do think that it's very likely that we continue heading down further. But if you have a long-term approach to Bitcoin and you are interested in developing an investment entry point or begin dollar cost averaging, price levels between 3,000 and 4,000 seem very logical to me. Okay? Right. Jonathan Krause, what's going on, man? Todd, I love you too, bro. Marcus Walker, first time on your show live. It's great. Thank you so much, man. Coinbase Pro exit plan for ZERP bag holders. Ryan Atkinson, 50% win rate with larger wins than losses equals long-term success. Absolutely. And you know what? I'll be quite frank with you, man. Back in the day when I used to trade E-mini lots, I would only be right 37% of the time, and I still made money. Okay? 37% of the time, still made money. Keep that in mind. Marcus Walker, that's absolutely right, man. You have to keep a journal, man. Sean Bond says, "Can you speak on buy and sell walls? Does my head in watching them stall the market?" You can simply watch. You can simply watch the buy and sell walls on something like Tensor Charts, and when that wall disappears, generally price is going to go up. But just to be frank, guys, this is cryptocurrency. There's a lot of Mickey Mousery going on, and yeah, generally walls. I don't have a strong opinion on this because walls can be suppression and walls can be genuine, right? So we have to ask ourselves. And again, I had a member that brought this up. In the chat, and I think it's a fascinating question. I'd like to get you guys' input on it. So if we look at, let's go over here and look at. I'm gonna go to the members lounge private Discord here real quick and just make sure I'm quoting them accurately. So he had pointed out, and it seems to have changed, right? But he pointed out the fact that, so this was about a half hour ago, looking at OakX, okay, looking at OakX, there was a $8 million sell wall, all right, on OakX, like a $8 million number of, oh, hold on, nearest 5%, all right? sure that I'm quoting him correctly. Bitcoin global market depth. Yeah, so that's crazy. So, and it's already gone. It's already gone. So looking at OakX, we can see that the number of asks in the books for OakX is now $600,061. Okay. That's the number of asks in the order book on OakX. About 30 minutes ago, it was 8.16 million. Okay. That sell wall was there and now it's gone. Okay. The buy wall on OakX was only 3,800. So the buy wall hasn't really changed. In fact, it's gone up about $58, the number of buys on the order book at OakX. But what does that tell you? I mean, OakX is another leverage trading platform like BitMEX. Those when you're talking about Bitcoin, man, those walls will come up and come down. And they are generally for the purpose of suppressing price. It is what it is, guys. This is cryptocurrency. This is the life we've chosen. So there's no consistent strategy to dealing with them. But generally, I mean, if you're in a long position and you see that massive sell wall pop up, I mean, you need to exit your position, right? That's the logical thing to do. You need to exit your position because the odds that sell wall is going to get chewed through and the odds that it's not going to pull back on you. If you see that sell wall pop up, it's generally a good opportunity to exit your position. Because you can just simply re-enter if that sell wall disappears and then price closes convincingly above where that sell wall was. That's a good trading strategy, actually, is to use... oh, come on now. Robot detected. Sorry, my computer is revolting. There we go. So... Robot detected. I love that. Any users? No, not big enough of a volume spike on XRP over there. Nope, not yet. Any users? Yeah, I mean, this is a historical snapshot of the order book. You can adjust this if you guys aren't familiar with tensor charts. This is a fantastic resource. But in fact, I like it so much. I'll be honest with you. I have not purchased the premium plan, but I'm thinking about doing that, especially for my team. So, any users? Yeah, I mean, when if you're trading and you see that big sell wall come up, I mean, you need to be exiting your long position because you can buy on a convincing close above where that sell wall was, meaning that price has ceased to be suppressed and the price is likely to appreciate for a while. In fact, I know individuals that trade strategies where they just look for buy wall sell pulls, and if price closes again, just like I said, convincingly above that, that's when they go long. But again, I don't think you need to do all that. That's just that's a secondary confirmation for a strategy that also works when you're trading out of consolidation and you see a convincing candle close on good volume above your level, you go long. All right. Alex Felive says, look at the 4-hour chart, strong trend line. Kind of. Yeah, if you're using full candle bodies, let's look here. Well, if you're measuring full candle bodies, it was broken. If you're measuring wicks, it was broken. If we're measuring here to here, well, you can't measure from here to here because you don't know this is a top. All right? You don't know that's a top. You know this is a top. It generally takes 2 to 3 candles to confirm a top. It actually takes 2. That's the rule. It takes 2 candles to confirm a local top or bottom. It takes 2 closes. 3 actually, because the current candle has to close, and then you have to have 2 consecutive closes to confirm a top or bottom. That's actually one of the hacks that I made with time transformation, is because typically divergence takes 2 candles to spot, but this is a predictive indicator, so it will actually plot divergence on the current candle if it matches the qualifications. But the thing is, it will repaint if that qualification disappears, right? So you just need to be on the lookout for that. Peter says, I just lost all the check. I'm trying to keep up, man. Okay, we're going to 4,400, 4,500 to test the downsloping trend line. Going back 14 months, get rejected and break down. To test the downsloping trend line, going back I say we're going to 44, 4,500. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay, yeah. So the logarithmic trend line. Possible. Yeah, I think if we go above 39.50, man, on a convincing closing basis, my next target would be around 4,600. Yep. Absolutely. Jay Constant, I'm really sorry to hear that, man. I can tell you that I've dealt with a situation like that myself, and it's not fun, man. But and I wish I could be more help to you, man. But I know what it's like to go through something like that. So my heart's with you, man. Robert says I had a demon voice toward the end of my old risk reward video. It's possible, man. Why do I think it will continue the downtrend? Because we haven't had a convincing break of the trend yet. So I have to assume that the dominant trend will continue, man. What do I think of Nash next? I have no opinion on it. RH, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube, man. We'll look at XR. So what if XRP is a security and that is why Coinbase waited for Coinbase Pro to add it? Well, the jury's out on whether XRP is a security or not, to be quite frank with you. But it seems like it's not, according to the information that we have, or as far as I understand, it's not. Could be, maybe, potentially. But you know, to be honest with you, I mean, Coinbase Pro is looking at Binance just eating up all its all its customers, and they're like, man, we got to add this friggin' ZERP, dude. Chico Ching says, do you counter trade your original position only when you are in profit? No. I mean, what I'm doing is called hedging. So I'm in a situation where I'm in a comfortable profit, right, for my short entry, right? So I don't see a reason to exit that position yet. Funding isn't yet chewing me up. It's not really affecting me negatively yet. And XBTM19 has lowered volatility. So is it true hedging, as I'd like to hedge with options? And again, I'm not on Deribit yet. I have some issues. No, I would prefer to hedge with options, right? Unfortunately, Engine, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube. The issue is that BitMEX's options suck. Their Black-Scholes models are terrible. They're overvalued, and you can't short sell the up contract, which is, if I could short sell the up contract on BitMEX, that's probably all I'd do. But I digress. Anyways, let's go back and watch that boy. So anyways, guys. So yeah, I'm not counter trading my original position. I went short from an area of what I thought was going to be supply and rejection. And I'm looking at this as a potential continuation up to retest the breakdown zone. So I don't see any reason not to have an established position long, because should it go up and retest my area, I'll already be in good profit, and again, then I'll be able to take the comfortable decision. You know, when you're in profit, you're able to make much more comfortable decisions, right? Naturally. I like Crypto Panic, Marcus Walker, but you know, to be honest with you, Scott does a really, really good job at aggregating the news on our website. In our Discord. Peter says, if we don't test the 4,400, 4,500 and break down substantially, then we will go past previous all-time lows. If we test 4,500 first and then break down, it won't go as low, possibly getting to a double bottom at 3,200. It's possible, or it's possible that the 4,500 test is a bull trap, because that's our first sticky area, that it's a bull trap, and from there we do reject lower. It's possible that we go lower. Do I ever scalp on Binance? Yes, only USDT pairings. I have 30% of my capital on deposit on Binance. So I see 2,700 as imminent. I don't see it as imminent. I see it as likely. What do I think of next? I don't have an opinion, man. I'm sorry. Blockchain will defeat Thanos. What's my price prediction for Bitcoin in the future, 1+ years forward from today? Listen, I think that we will reclaim a fair value in price. I think that we're going to have another. I think we're going to have another couple bull markets, right? I don't necessarily know if I agree with things like, $2 million Bitcoin or $100,000 Bitcoin or $50,000 Bitcoin. Numbers like that, to be quite honest with you, are absolutely worthless. Like, they're cool to talk about. Like, it's nice to sit there and think, hey, Bitcoin was once 19,000, right? It will probably be maybe 40,000, 50,000. Those are just numbers that people just say, right? They're not based on anything, man. They're not. They're arbitrary numbers, right? No one has any clue. Most of these people that say this stuff don't have a fundamental understanding of economics or what price is. The price is based on speculation and fair market value. So I don't know what the fair market value is of Bitcoin. Nobody does. That's up to the market to decide, right? But I would expect that as an investment, that Bitcoin has a few other bull runs left in it, because that's looking at Bitcoin from the lens of trading, right? Traditional assets valued against a global reserve currency. It's not valued against the fair market value of Bitcoin, which would be established by it becoming the world reserve currency, right? Which at that point in time doesn't really matter what the value of Bitcoin is. You just know you want a lot, as much as you can. And ultimately, in the long-term scope of things, guys, it's kind of like a lot of things, man. If Bitcoin does what it purports to do, then the entire world will be better off whether or not you have a large holding or not, right? So even if you don't have any Bitcoin, if you understand what Bitcoin purports to do and wants to do, and you understand that and you accept that, and you are a supporter of freedom and economic liberty, then you should be supportive of the Bitcoin. Of Bitcoin's propagation. Thank you so much, Daniel Clerks. No, you're the man. Have I mentioned about the 21 and the 55 exponential moving average on the 4-hour Bitcoin chart? I have not. Because I know people were talking about the golden cross and then we dropped. So, June to new, man. I do use the 2155. So Heikinashi hasn't happened yet. Japanese candlesticks hasn't quite happened yet. It's probably going to confirm on the next bar. I don't necessarily think, again, just personal preference. I think those are lagging indicators. I don't really trade crossovers. I have a function for it. I have a function for it right here, guys. So this is one of my indicators. And this pretty much tells you when to buy and when to sell. So, right? Buy here, sell here, you buy here, and you sell here. And it's okay. That's trading the slow twitch EMAs. And it's not bad. And you can mess around with it and customize it if you want. You can also look at all this stuff on different time frames if you want. But so we can look at the 30-minute time frame while we're looking at the 4-hour time frame if you want. But I digress. I typically have those disabled because I don't trade that stuff. I find that they're leading indicators. In fact, I would argue that on a higher time frame, like for example, like on the weekly or the monthly, for example, like when you get a crossover, let's hide this and let's look at these EMAs. Come on, baby, the way you move. Why you no work? Oh, use contract resolution. Yes. Okay. I would argue that by the time you get an extremely bearish cross under on higher time frames, for example, like you see here, like the 55 about to cross under the 100 exponential moving average, there's a good potential that bearish reaction has already played out because these are lagging indicators. The main purpose, in my opinion, of an exponential moving average, they can be used as support and resistance. They're good at that. They're not bad. But their primary indication for me is to help identify trend, right? And if price is above or below the exponential moving averages, I know there's a whole lot to do about whether moving averages are above moving averages, and that's fine. It's a consistent strategy. But again, it's my personal opinion that if a whole lot of people are doing something, then I would like to be doing something different. So that's just my personal preference. I apologize. Thank you, Real Stogger Roach, man. Hope you're not late for class today. Web Dev Nuvi. Joe Ray says, my thinking is why would I stay on a boat that's going down? Yeah, if you don't have long-term faith in Bitcoin, that's absolutely fine. But if you do, then you have to imagine to yourself, or believe, or understand that price is likely not to be this low for very long. And you do have to start at some point logically thinking about, okay, it's not about buying the bottom; it's about getting a good entry for the long term. Do I think $3,000 to $4,000 is a good entry in Bitcoin for the long term? Yeah, I do. Oh, hey, Dr. Fast. Sorry, I didn't see that, man. All right, going down to the bottom. Just need to convince 21 million people to just buy 1 Bitcoin and 5 Ether to watch how the laws of supply and demand work, man. Is it better to go short in the spot market or in the futures market? Well, you can't go short. You can't short sell on the spot market. You can hedge. You can short futures and buy the underlying. Hey, what's going on, Freeman's Cryptoverse? Why buy 1 when I can get 2? It's cool. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. If you can catch it, man, if you can, that's cool. But, here's the reality, man. We don't know how low price is going to go. And, that's the mentality. And I'm not saying you're wrong, so I'm not personally calling you out. And again, I'm not saying that this is the best price to go in on Bitcoin. But I'm just making the argument that it is a good average entry position for the large swath of individuals out there who will not catch the bottom. Because you don't know. This is Bitcoin, man. What if, let me paint an example for you. What if it goes down to 1,000, right? For 5 minutes, right? Price slow walks down to 2,500. And let's fast forward a couple months and everybody's like, nope, it's going down to 1,000. Shoots down to 1,000 for 5 minutes and then pops up to 6K. Could happen. Unlikely, potentially. Or shoots down to 2,500 or shoots up to 4,000. I think that's pretty likely. I think Bitcoin could move that fast, that quickly. Yes. And then we're sitting right here at 37.96 and you're going to buy $300 higher than you could have. Just saying. Just saying. The actual number of people who will successfully be able to buy the bottom is going to be very low. Yo, what up, Mike D's Fitness? Hey, Justin, one question. On the Bitcoin hourly, you can draw a nice wedge inside the stochastic indicator. Can we read something out of this, or is this useless? In my personal opinion, it's useless. I know a lot of people draw chart patterns. So this is just me. I don't put a lot of weight in chart patterns insofar as what do they tell me about price action. I put more weight on price action. I put more weight on trend and momentum. I see this a lot. I see like chart patterns drawn on RSI and stochastic, and I'm not saying that you can't do it, but I've never met professional traders that do that stuff, right? That's the stuff I see from crypto Twitter. Again, I could be completely wrong and biased. That's just my personal opinion. Joe Ray says, that's the way it's going to happen. Put an order in, keep an order in. Well, hell yeah, man. Okay. So we talked about Bitcoin. Let's go over to Ether. Looks like we're going down in the short term. Let's go over to the. Let's just go to the daily time frame. Again, not a whole lot to talk about, guys. Consolidation. We still have a bearish. Okay, so daily Heikinashi caught the sell at the top. Again, we do have to look at what time. What time would that have actually told us to sell? Probably directly on the candle. Sorry, did not mean to. Okay, good. So let's delete that and let's delete that. So that's kind of interesting. Go down to Japanese candlesticks. Yeah, just duh. I would have told us to sell them. Mentally challenged. Anyways, what? Just deleted volume. Damn it. All right, I see that's how the show's going to be, guys. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. That's going to be it. No, just kidding. Anyways, daily hike in Asha, we still have a bearish trend. Just sideways consolidation on the daily time frame. Going down to the 8-hour time frame, price is completely flat. We do have a buy signal. Well, no, that's not a buy signal. But again, we do have a little bit of an attempted trend flip right here. And on this candle, we actually do have a confirmed cross up of the 8-hour time transformation. Not putting a whole lot of weight in that, guys. We came up and hit again what was initially one of my take profit targets. So for me, when I'm looking at Ethereum, kind of the same thing. I'm looking at the level between 145, 148, potentially maybe even a little bit lower, 143 to 145. But this range, I'm looking for the equilibrium zone to be a retest and an additional sell, because you had aggressive initiation here, you have a lot of trap buyers here, and you have a lot of trap buyers here, right? Now, I think that if we do reclaim the equilibrium zone, we'll probably go higher. And yes, the reason why I think that we will be able to, okay, this is why. Let me explain this, because this might be important, guys. I want to point this out. So let's look at volume. I want to look at volume after I deleted it. Okay, so let's make this really clear. Okay, so look at the volume here. Okay, right, on this candle, right? This is the breakout candle, right? This is when you had buyers buying, right? Look at the candle here. Look at the volume on this candle. And look at the volume on this candle. It's significantly lower, okay? Meaning there were less buyers getting trapped here than there were buyers that bought here, okay? This was savvy buyers, okay? This was late stage of a trend buyers, right? These are trap buyers. These are trap buyers too right now, but these are the dumber buyers. These are the slightly smarter buyers. These are the smart buyers. These are dumb buyers, okay? Let's put it that way. Now, if price returns to an area where there's a lot of buyers, a lot of trap buyers, they're going to sell. They're going to sell at the opportunity to get out at slight profit or break even. And there's a lot more here that probably went in right here, and we could actually break this down if we go to the lower time frames and look at session volume. Okay, so right here. So looking at session volume, we have a big volume spike here, and we have a big volume spike here, okay? Looking at session volume. So just looking at it on its face, this seems to be the most significant one, right? As well as the number of accumulation here. We had buyers here, 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 right? So this area right here represents the entry zone. I know that's probably a lot because I do use the developing value area on my... But so I'll disable that just so you guys can see. So hopefully that's quite clear for you guys. So we have a lot of aggressive initiation here, just along this zone between 145 and 148, okay? There's more volume here, and there's more volume here, okay, of buyers than there is here, okay? So I would expect that if price returns to the area where you have the highest number of buyers, that are trapped and want to get out of their position, which would represent this range right here, that would be the area that price rejects from. Now, if price can get over that level, right, where there are the most trapped buyers, then that's a pretty strong sign from the bulls that there is a lot of demand for this asset at this price. And I think that we'll have more than enough market buying pressure to clear out the trapped sellers here. Probably take a little dip on the way back up, but reclaiming the equilibrium zone of 148.30 is a pretty gosh darn bullish sign. And I think that we probably go much higher, probably to 175. So that's the tether chart. So, okay, if we come over here to actually my BitMEX chart, we can actually see the correct values for what I was just talking about, right? So here we go, trapped buyers here, so 142 to 144, stretching really all the way up to 147.62. That would represent, so if you were looking to go short from this range, an open and close, or a close above 147.62 would be an invalidation level for me. If that were to occur, I would take a loss on a short position, any aggressive short position that you attempted to enter there to counter trade the trend, excuse me, and you would look to establish long positions in my humble opinion, because then most likely we go up here and we hit my upper side profit targets, starting with 155.65 on the short term, but 170 and 181 most definitely. I don't think we really have that's our sticky area, this zone right here. So you just take price before resistance, you take price at a previous swing high, and then really our trouble area or our ceiling is 192.28. I think if price can get above 192.28 on MEX, things look good. Things look really, really good. Oh, sorry, I stretched it out, man. All right, it's 102. Whoa, hey, what's going on? How and why? All right. Dun, 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 dun. See what fish is at. Moritz Unseld says, how and why do I color my candlesticks? It depends on if I have time transformation on or not. Just in general, green candlesticks are white, red candlesticks are black, because I find that they remove the emotional compulsion to buy or sell if I see a green color. The blue background is for a couple reasons. It's the easiest color to see white and black against. So, you know, got the glasses, you know what I mean? It's not like I got 20/20 eagle eyes, but it's good for the individuals on the stream, and it's a calming color, so it keeps me emotionally neutral while I'm looking at a position. When I have time transformation activated, then it allows me to color my bars based on Heikin-Ashi trends. So if I'm looking at Japanese candlesticks, it still allows me to see what the dominant Heikin-Ashi trend is without having to flip to Heikin-Ashi. But I still will actively generally evaluate a position looking at Heikin-Ashi just because it's much cleaner. And I am using TradingView. TradingView. All right, guys, listen, check it out. Let's go take a look over here. Oh, I didn't add IOP to the list. Sorry, Eli. When I come back, I'm going to be gone for about 1 to 2 minutes. When I return, guys, I will be looking at IOP and XRP, Mr. Zerp. Oh, yeah, guys, while I'm gone, make sure you guys go over here to x42.crackencryptocurrency.com and enter into the giveaway, guys. Make sure you guys get your opportunity to get some of that masternode, guys. Giving away 5 masternodes to 1 masternode to 5 lucky people. So 5 masternodes in total, 5 people in total, guys. Doesn't cost anything to enter. It's totally just to support the community, guys. All right, I'll be right back, guys. And just a question to lead off with while I'm gone. Do you think we're going to go up or do you think we're going to go down? I kind of want to know your opinion, guys. We're in consolidation. You know, we're going to break out violently. Are you guys long or are you guys short? And we'll meditate upon that when I return. I'll be back in about 2 minutes, guys. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you in a sec. What's going on, guys? All right, let me scroll up and see what you guys said to the questions. And again, I seem to have lost the Twitch viewer count. Every time I come back from Be Right Back, I lose that Twitch viewer count. Ah, well, fantastic and awesome. Maybe if I go to, maybe if I go here. Maybe if I go there. Nope, it's still gone. What if I go back to it? Okay, we're back. And we're going to go back here. There we go. Look at that. I fixed it. All I got to do is double tap it. Double tap it and it works. Okay, cool. I just like how technology works sometimes. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I've looked at Tensor charts, Peter. In fact, I looked at them on the stream. Twitch. Okay, so ZeroCool721 says, with BFXLS top 10 weighted average still so high, isn't there more liquidity below here before the possibility of moving up again? Yes, looking at the longs to shorts ratios, I still think that we're still over leveraged to the long side, and it's likely that we continue moving down. Why I'm still holding on to my short position. But I do expect a little bit of a stab up. Hopefully the restream chat starts working again. I really like how this stuff works. Just, you know, fantastic technology that we got going on here. So we've got some people thinking it's going to go up and some people thinking it's going to go down. That typical day in crypto Twitter, man. I think most people think we're going down. Long, strong. Luke Sperlin, right on, man. Got to get the friction on. You're one of the good ones, bro. When Moon. Cool, man. So it's good. It's good to see that. It's good to see that diversification of opinion, man. Ricky Thompson asks, where can I learn about time transformation? You can actually search for it on the TradingView indicators because it is I have published it now. It's an invite-only script. If you check the banner at the top of it, there, up there, yep, up there. Premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. All subscribers to our group get access to all my indicators. Dr. Faz says, we will probably never see sub $2,000 prices because far too many individuals are waiting to buy, and guess what? It will in turn push up the price, and market does the opposite of what the majority wants. You are absolutely right, man. I know, man. Cookie for me. I'd like a cookie. Where's the cookie, Jasper? I'm going to need you to send it to my Bitcoin address. Is it necessary to buy a hardware wallet? No. I prefer Armory for cold storage, but hardware wallets are nice, but they're not perfect. Peter, I don't even know if I want to read that comment. That's funny though. Trading you. Oh, Moritz, because I am using time transformation to recolor my candlesticks based on Heikinashi trend. What's the indicator for comparing longs to shorts? Well, you got a couple options, man. A couple good options. There's the... If we go here to my indicators. Favorites. There is the Bitfinex longs to shorts V2 by M59, and then there's the Bitfinex total long shorts altcoins aggregate by Big Herb. Those are the two I recommend. Do me a favor, Sean Bond says, and make a market order for $500,000 and destroy these goddamn annoying sell walls on Kraken. That'd be great. Thanks. You know, even for me, I could possibly accomplish that, but I don't think I'm going to have access to enough leverage on Kraken. Zero Cool says, big possibility that this is painting a bear flag / pennant. Bart down and then Bart up, similar to last week of December. Bit of a fractal possible. Yeah. Overall, I see the validity of that. Overall, and again, price is whatever you want to call Barting, but in general, price is consolidating on low volatility. You trade the range until the range breaks, which is only going to happen once. And ultimately, I do view the retest to the equilibrium zone as a sell on the first pass through. Should I be invalidated, then it's a buy. Someone call Mount Gox. What's my short, medium term outlook on the S&P 500? You know, I think the SPY is going pretty strong right now. I will take a look. I haven't looked at the SPY. Actually, I did just look at the SPY yesterday. Sorry, let's look at XPX. Okay, listen. So, okay. So this chart hasn't changed in a while, guys. This chart hasn't changed in a while. This is my 8-hour time frame for SPY. If we just go back a little bit in history, this was the original supply zone. I said, should we break down from here? These are the two zones that I would be interested in entering positions. Both of them hit. If you DCA'd into them, you did just fine. We're back above the equilibrium zone right now, and things look pretty good, man. You know, time transformation's thrown up a couple deep sells, which again, when you're trading against the dominant trend, are not indications to counter trade. They're indications to take profit. So you see time transformation gave you the buy here at the absolute bottom on the recent dip in the SPY. And things look pretty good, man. We're at resistance. I would expect to see a little bit of consolidation here on SPY. See if we really do establish and hold this level as higher support. And if you break out, I mean, you're close to a blue sky breakout, man. You're at resistance. So if I were trading mini lots, probably an area where I'd want to be entering into at least a scalp short. But it's going strong, man. It's going strong. SPY's going strong. I do think that most likely we make higher highs in the short term. I really do think we do. Get rid of volume because that's useless on these time frames. So this is an area where you kind of want to do nothing. You can be risky and enter into a short position, but I don't think you're targeting anything. I don't think you're targeting anything higher than 27.35. Just a retest of the supply zone. But ultimately, I mean, you're looking for this to break above 28.16 is what you're doing. I mean, but you're at resistance. So you don't long resistance. You typically short resistance. So I'd like to see a nice healthy pullback down here to at least test the supply zone, 27.32. 27.30, 27.35, that range would be nice. I do not, Max Strangefeld. What is Armory? I'll show you, man. Think that's right? No, that's not right. Yeah, BitcoinArmory.com. I think this is probably the best. Actually, you know what? I don't think that's the right. I always get it from the Bitcoin.org website, but Yeah, so I think this is the best. I think this is the best software solution for cold storage. It's just the best. It's a little complicated because you have to run a full node, but you can install Armory on a air-gapped computer, for example, like a laptop that doesn't have a wireless card or has no access to the internet, and you can generate your private keys on there, and then you can actually take the create a watch-only wallet with a public address on your online computer, so you can always know how much money is in your Bitcoin wallet address, but there's absolutely no possibility that anybody can access your funds. And you can do cold storage wallets via the use of an air-gapped USB or however you like. That's my personal solution to Bitcoin cold storage. I do want to talk about this. I didn't talk about this news article. So, potential invader coming in. So if you guys did not know, now live on the NASDAQ, Bitcoin and Ethereum price indices, BLX and ELX. So these are tracking the liquid price of Bitcoin and Ethereum. These are live now. It says here, just on February 26th, two of the most popular indices from the U.S. blockchain and crypto market data company. So these are from Brave New Coin. We're officially listed on NASDAQ. So you guys can go check those out. They're going to be launching a Ripple index soon, the RLX, but they're not going to include the Coinbase Pro data because there's not enough 24-hour volume on there yet. So we'll just wait and see if that occurs. And yes, I am watching ZERP pretty hard today. And actually, we should probably go ahead and take a look at the chart. ICX, bear market in the SPY. Max Strangefield, because I'm just really not that familiar with it, to be quite honest with you, man. I'd be happy to learn a little bit more about it, to be quite honest with you. I've just never used it. All right, so let's add, if we get time, let's put ICX on there, man. Bear market possibility in the SPY? I don't think right now, man. I really don't think so. Eventually, yes. But I don't think right now. But again, it just depends on price action, man. I think the market's pretty strong right now. I think sentiment's pretty good right now. I think we have a little bit of a pullback right now, but I do think we probably continue moving on higher. Why do I use such a poor contrast of colors? You know, hey, I'm sorry, Richard, if it's difficult for you to see. But actually, statistically, a blue background in white and black is the easiest contrast to see. So I've only had a couple people complain about it. Most people tell me how easy it is to see. So I apologize if it's hard for you to see, man. Any Hoosers, let's go. So let's start with XRP BTC. And we'll take a look at what we got, man. I do want to look at the weekly. So the weekly still looks like crap, to be quite honest with you, man. Let's get rid of my lines. The weekly still looks like crap. We are potentially looking for an SR test, man. But I mean, overall, guys, even you know, when you look at Heikinashi on the weekly, it just really clears things out, guys. I do want to point this out. We are entering oversold territory on the Fisher for the first time since this period of the market cycle and this period of the market cycle, right? So just something to keep your eyes on. This was obviously the fresh launch, so it is what it is. So something to keep your eyes on. Doesn't mean we have a reversal yet. We are coming back. We are at that area, I guess, of the previous supply zone. The previous supply zone, we had a little bit of a breakout here. It does seem to be more likely that we retest these lows, that we retest this consolidation zone right here, if I'm just being quite honest with my long-term outlook of ZERP, because we have the most volume coming to this candle, and then we have more aggressive initiation right here. This doesn't seem like the most logical area for us to find support. We could, because this is an equilibrium zone. But in general, unless ZERP rallies off some news, and we'll see kind of over the next few days, it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be high volatility to trade in the short term, but in the long term, I can't have a bullish bias on this quite yet. Now, I've been logically consistent about this, so let's look at the areas that I was talking about. I said that if price ended up going down below this pink line, so pretty much the 8,200 area, this 8288, but whatever, then most likely my downside profit targets for a short position would be 7488 and 6382. This is spot looking at index. And again, the likely areas for us to find support would be that 6520. So basically a sweep of the previous lows. Below that, we don't really have support until 40.10. Now, should price rally and close convincingly above 85.50, that's my initiation level. So that kind of bifurcates the market right here for me. Then I'm going to be looking for a long position because because long-term bullish perspective, I would expect price to, if price does rally off this area and take out this previous high, I expect us to go to 14.12. 14.21.9, sorry. But in the mesoterm, we do have upside price targets above the initiation level. So below the initiation level, pretty much short overall in the market, although I have taken a few stabs at counter trading just based on the volatility. First attempt didn't work out for me. We'll see how the next few attempts work out. And we'll see. But in general, there's no indication to be in a trending long. I mean, let's go down and look at the 8-hour time frame. Take logarithmic off. And we'll zoom out just a little bit. Sorry, let us do auto that. I mean, so the best thing that we're hoping for here, is, again, we've seen this for a while, man. After the recent blow off top, we dump, we have a pump, and we dump, and 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 we have a pump, and it's just on and on and on and on and on. Not a significant change in strong trend. I mean, the strong trend is obviously quite bearish, guys. Looking at the daily, had a couple, again, same thing. We have nice, extremely strong bullish momentum. We have a brief interim here for consolidation. We have our blow off top right here indicated by volume, and then it's just been continued downside, man. It's just been continued downside. We have this resistance trend line. It corresponds very nicely with my initiation level. Getting a daily close above this level would, I think, indicate a significant shift in the momentum to the downside, and we can look for higher price targets. But until that happens, you're fricking gambling. And that's kind of part of trading. So that's why I'll probably continue to look for counter trend longs. But we're at a level where if this Xert BTC Coinbase thing doesn't really amount to anything, and it just provides, as some individuals speculated, kind of an exit scam for long-term bag holders, which doesn't really make sense. I don't see why if you're waiting to sell on Coinbase, why wouldn't you have just sold on Binance unless you just want to sell on USD? But could be priming up for a great opportunity to enter into a long-term positional short because we do have some pretty good risk to reward. I mean, even right now, you have a downside potential of 23%, and you can manage risk at about 4 or 5%. So seems worse to me, man, or seems quite worth it to me. Can you explain how the range only breaks once thing works again? Sure, but dandy, or bad Andy, sorry. So when you're looking at a range of consolidation, Bitcoin's going to provide a good example of this. Actually, Ethereum's going to provide a good example as well. Let's go down to the 15-minute chart on Ethereum. Okay, so when you're looking at high volatility movements like this, right? So right here, you see a lot of momentum to the downside. You've pretty much established a range, right? You have resistance, you have support, right? You see where all the wicks are going down to. When you're watching the charts, right? When you're watching the charts, because sorry, hold on, I got it in base. Good times. All right, good times. Hey guys, thanks. So, he's a sweetheart. All right, so when we have consolidation, right, individuals are going to attempt to buy into what they think is a potential breakout, and they're going to sell into what they think is a potential breakdown, right? Because they're really eager to be able to catch a dominant trend. The thing that you need to wait for is you need to wait for confirmation. If you're buying into a breakout, you need to see a convincing candle body close outside the range of support and resistance, right? Because that's only going to happen once. Like when you have a range of consolidation, and that's the scenario that we're trying to picture here. So you're consolidating, you have a range, and then you you assume that like if price goes above resistance, that it's going to start going up fairly strongly. And you assume that if price goes below support, then it's going to start going down very strongly. But the problem is that only happens once. So if that's the trade that you're looking to take, you're going to be wrong every time prior, except that one time. So, I mean, this is what you see, right? You have, these are kind of bad examples because you don't have a strongly established range. But on candles like this, right? Because you have to recall that this candle did not always look like a wick. At one point in time, when you're watching this chart, you're just seeing this big, long, death dildo to the downside, right? And you're going to think to yourself, like, while it's happening, you're sitting there and it's an emotional reaction. You're like, and it's a red candle too. And you're like, oh my God, it's going to continue going down. This is it. Short. And then what happens? Like, it immediately gets bought up, right? All right. Immediately gets bought up. So the right thing to do in that scenario, the correct thing to do, is to see a big candle like that on high momentum and high volume and buy. That's the right thing to do, is buy. It's the counter trade, is to counter trade the range. Buy low, sell high, buy low. Because you're going to be right. If you do that, you're going to be right every time but once. Because when it actually breaks out, it only happens one time, right? So until then, you just counter trade the range. You just counter trade the range. See big wicks like this, you buy while it's wicking, while it's big and red. You know what I mean? And when you see big wicks like this, or when you see big candles like this, you short. Now you can wait for a little bit of confirmation. You can wait for the candle to close. Waiting for the candle to close will generally still set you up for a decently profitable long position. The other way to do this is just to set like scatter limit orders in the bottom of the range and scatter limit orders at the top of the range. You're only going to be wrong once. When ETH forked, you can actually go to our website, man. We have an accurate countdown timer that was written by our dev. So just go to cryptocurrency.com and go here to extras and fork countdowns, Ethereum, Constantinople. I think there's a subdomain for this, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Check my... Oh, it's just go to constantinople.krakencryptocurrency.com. Yeah, this is updated by block. So we actually have 1 day, 22 minutes, and 0 seconds as of right now. You can actually come here and watch all the blocks and the difficulty of the blocks and when it was timestamped. Here's a blog. Here's an article by a contributor to our blog. Here's a little bit more. And if you guys, again, Ben, our dev, he wrote this. He doesn't get any, compensation for writing this stuff. It's just, it's just for fun. So make sure you guys power up the coder. Give him some support, man. He is one of the good ones. Absolutely, Azriel. Absolutely, man. Carl Perry to shoot himself. Nah, man, it's all good, bro. Okay, so yeah, like right now, like I'm looking at Ethereum, right? And just to be logical, like if we, come to these areas or even areas like this, I mean, you most likely want to buy. You're only going to be wrong once. So, and what would invalidate wrong for me is if you actually get right now looking at the range, like I would say I would take this area right here, 133.76, or you could be a little bit more aggressive and say 134.26. If you get a 15-minute candle close actually below that level, then you exit your position at a loss. It is what it is, man. But every other time until that, you're going to be right. But what you generally do wait for is you wait for something like this, right? You wait for high volume. So that actually doesn't look like a bad buy to me. Just a sweep of the previous low. Now, can you be wrong? Can it continue heading down? Yeah, it could. But that's the fact that it's actually going to just bloop. It's only going to happen one time in a range. So, and you can DCA too. Like you could take a stab here, and you could take a stab here, take a stab here and here. But this is kind of what happens, man. Previous lows get swept. But I will tell you this: the bad time. Okay, so let me be very clear about this. When you establish short positions is when price is high. Okay, or if you get a confirmed breakdown of price, right? So if we look at something like the 3-hour range, like it's just this simple, man. Here's the bottom, 131.56. Okay, 131.56. You get an hourly or a 3-hour, however conservative you want to be. Let's say you get an hourly candle close below that level, you're going short. You're going short, and you've got downside targets all the way down to 118. Doesn't matter if you miss here to here. You're good. Azrael says, I dollar cost average down 1% from initial entry into the SFP zone. Yep. This man gets it, dude. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to our analysis of ZERP real quick here, guys. I mean, the best thing that we're hoping for here is that this is a pullback. So we're looking at regular candlesticks on the daily time frame. And again, we have this kind of invalidation zone that I was talking about here. So I talked about if we get a convincing close of a buy initiation level of 85.50, then my stop loss will most likely be down here at 82.88. That hasn't happened yet. We've had a pump and what seems to be a dump. So, you know, it is what it is. I took a stab at a momentum long. Not a momentum long, but I just was trying to buy the retest of the SR, just on the possibility that this does continue in another bullish impulse wave, and I was invalidated by the market. So I waited for an opportunity for price to pump up a little bit, get out at pretty significant. What is it, about 1.3% loss? Not too bad. So, and we'll just sit and wait. We'll just sit and wait. I'm not thoroughly convinced that nothing will come with the Coinbase thing. I think we could see some nice volatility to the upside here. But we'll just see. Just like I said, when we're looking at the weekly time frame, at the daily time frame, looking at our downside targets, should price continue to reject from here, we've got good downside potential. So plenty of time to enter into a positional short. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to be patient and wait for everything to be invalidated. Now let's go over and look at XRPH19 based on that. So remember everything we just said about spot price, and let's port that over to XRPH19. Mr. ZERP, if you would. Mr. ZERP, do. Okay, so kind of the same thing. So now that we're below initiation levels of 83.55 and 85.28, again, we weren't able to break the descending trend line on the futures market either. And we have, again, what would have been a stop loss from either of these attempted retests of support here and support here. So looking for SR flips. This would invalidate both those trades, and you'd most likely be going lower, because I don't think that you're going to see a sweep of these lows without going. I don't think we're going to sweep and then move higher. That doesn't make sense to me. That's not the way it works. We're not consolidating. We're not at a consolidation range. We're in a downtrend. So all we're looking for is a reversal of the downtrend. There's two conservative ways to look at this. You can look for a convincing candle close above this range, and that would also be putting you above the resistance downtrend as well. And then you have your upside targets here and your primary resistance that you need to get above that as well. I think the strong resistance coming in from ZERP is around 8,800. So. Hell yeah, man. Let's take a look at some data metrics here. Oh, no, we need to look at IOP, man. IOP continuing to go strong, Eli? Let's find out. Oh, my good Lord, Eli, you're rich, dude. Eli, you're rich, man. Good job, man. Alt's having a nice bullish reaction, man. IOP. Cheers to the hodlers, man. Cheers to the hodlers, dude. We came back up and hit that profit target again. Or actually, maybe we hit it for the first time. Look at that, man. 34.28. Look at that, dude. Man, good stuff. Natural volume on this. See, that's what I'm talking about, right? It's not a convincing candle body close. You do get rejection, but it is nice strong volume, and you hold the floor and then you push back above the close. That's your entry position right there. Nice strong volume, push back above resistance or above the breakout zone. And then once you, I mean, this is just for individuals watching for momentum trading. Once you trade above the close of the high volume candle that technically broke the range, you get in. You get in. If you didn't enter on the candle body close itself. But you know, when you see that big wick, you might be thinking to yourself, that looks like a rejection. And I'm still tentative, man. I'm still very hesitant on these coin ESGs, man. But I think your next upside target, if you're going to retest the range high, is 38.43, just as I put here, man. We get above 38.43, we'll start talking about higher targets. But let's just be real, man. These things pump and then they dump, so get your profits while you can, man. Make sure you're not going to expose yourself to something that looks like this. But yeah, looking good, man. Daily bullish Heikin-Ashi trend. The daily Fisher is not overbought yet. So it seems like you could have some room to run. But yeah, and every other time that we rejected after a range high, we haven't quite gotten oversold yet. Actually, this seems to be the overbought level right here. This seems to be the overbought level, about 0.63 on the Fisher. So be careful, man, because we are getting there. Very happy for you, man. You have no idea how happy I am for you. Been looking at this coin like every day for like a month. It's happened. It's finally happened. And it pretty much followed the plan, man. Pretty much followed the plan. Talked about resistance right here. We talked about get the fuck out of the trade here. We talked about potential support at a higher level here. So I like it. Good. Broke the resistance downtrend. We've got profit target 1, profit target 2. You could potentially, you know what? I'd be quite real with you, man. I'd probably take some profit off the table there too. Because a lot of people are going to look at a level like this. Yeah. Previous support. Wick City up here. Use a trailing stop. Be like a 3% trailing stop. Maybe a 5% trailing stop. But nah, 2 or 3. Let's be honest. The likelihood of this going pff, as opposed to pff, I'd say is about 3 to 10. Oh, sorry. Somebody asked me about Samurai Wallets cold storage. I have no opinion. I don't even know, man. Front run, Eli, run! Turn on the lower time frame so we can give you a little bit more advice. You know, what you're watching for is volume spikes like this. So you need volume spikes like this to indicate a shift in the trend, but you see a volume spike like this and price just continues to go. Typically, you're going to see a nice big volume spike right before the trend shifts. So that's what I'd be doing, man. I would be watching this, and should price go down below the profit target level, I'd probably be out of the trade. You can always get back in on a dip, man. And that's just coming from the perspective of a trader. But you're kind of looking for, looks like price is kind of running into a brick wall right here, man. Not really moving. That's a pretty chunky order book, man. When TradingView tells you to buy, you should probably sell. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and assume are doing. $641 bids in the books, 6,618 asks, man. Can you even get filled? Market sell. Yeah, MDR looks like crap, man. The MDR was really good. The MDR flipped real bullish at 2:32 a.m. my time. It's freaking. I gotta figure out how to get this out of my face, but whatever. Flip bullish at 2:32 a.m. Right here. Yeah, 2:32 a.m. Order book flipped real bullish. And now it's flipped real bearish, man. Look at the bids. Bids are kind of skyrocketing here. And now the asks are just skyrocketing, and there are no buyers. So what are the odds that fresh buyers are going to come in? Where am I trading that has a trailing stop? So without plugging any unnecessary services, because I'm working on having projects on the show that I support, but it's vcdepth.io, Peter. But without promoting anything. So there's 3 commas. There's other OCO type platforms where you can trade with the trailing stop. There are automated features that you can use with a trailing stop. There's all kinds of features out there, man. Internet of People, what is this? Take me down to the Wick City where the candles are green and the profit is pretty. Oh, can I go along on ether? Probably eventually here in a minute, but we'll see. All right, there's IOP for you, bro. Hopefully that works, man. Okay, and I think I said we were going to look at ICX. Cool if we look at ICX USDT, because that's the only thing I'm interested in trading. Oh, we see we see consolidation. We see higher low. We see higher high. Oh, what happened? We look at Heikenage. It tells us nothing more than what that price action tells us. Let's zoom out. Yeah, like every other chart. So, all right, let's be real about this, man. Let's look at this clearly. The clear head. Here's the daily. Here's resistance. Here's where we're at. Here's support. Here's support. Here's fuck my life. Look at regular sticks. Okay. Here's resistance. Here's support. Here's support. Fuck my life. Nice V bottom to double tap on the top. And now a momentum candle down and a very weak climb up. So what does this tell me about price action? That the bulls are running out of steam, most likely. No, I don't actually think this is probably going to tear off on a rocket ship. And I would be willing to be wrong unless price is above 29 cents. So the last trade that I took on ICX was the momentum trade above 23. I think I ended up taking, actually, I think I took profit right around here, actually. It was a scalp the last time I think I traded. And to be quite honest with you, no, this doesn't look like it's going to run off and tear off, man. The volume has dropped off. Don't think that the volume is likely to come back in. We've had a double tap on resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the trade here, in my humble opinion, is the breakout trade of resistance. So strong candle body close above resistance, 8-hour time frame most likely, and we can target the previous breakdown zone right here. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. Let's look at the volume profile, and we can refine an upside profit target. ETH USD 15-minute buy. No. Why not? Try it. That's 2 attempted invasions in one day. That's 2 attempted invasions in one day. I like it. Three for the swear jar. That's the first 30 minutes of the stream. What do you mean, bro? All right. When will Bitcoin be 20,000 again? One day, man. One day. Sad Jokers Us says, can I please have a look at IOTA Oost? Let's see here. All right. Eye on that bad boy right there. We looked at ICX. Oh, sorry. I said I was going to look at potential upside profit targets for ICX real quick, man. Oh, potentially right there. Probably already charted it out. Got VPVR on here. Well, if we're being completely honest, we've got a very nice breakout trade up to our next significant level of resistance, but I would definitely always, as always, take profit at previous swing low. $0.39 and 46 cents. That's a pretty significant break, man. Price expansion should be pretty significant. That's if we don't just get slapped back down. So plenty of time to take the breakout trade if it does occur. Just keep your eyes on ICX, guys. Thank you so much, Smoke That. So how can I explain how to hedge on Kraken? You can't really, because to hedge you have to be long and short simultaneously. The only platform I know where you can really do that is Deribit. You can potentially, and I've talked about this before, you could potentially be long on the USD pairing and short on the euro pairing and just rebalance to cover the differential. But again, you're talking about different markets in all reality. So you're not actually properly hedged. You're essentially still gambling and you still have risk on. But that's one thing you could look into. I guess it's the best that you could do, being in the market that you're in. And how do I feel about portfolio rebalancing apps such as HODLbot and Shrimpy? I see the stats showing hourly rebalances helps over long term, but I'm not as sold on as I'd like to be. You know, I've looked at Shrimpy. I don't really know. I've never used it. I've never used it because that's really not my strategy. I prefer to manually trade, but I don't know. I just play with it, man. Throw some money into it and see if it works, or like maybe like throw $10 into it or something and see if it works. Probably actually have to throw a couple hundred in and see if it works. But I wouldn't necessarily trust my vast swaths of my money with it. Zoom Coco. My day is pretty good so far, man. I got a phone call conference later on with an interesting person. Gonna have lunch with a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm going to sit here and look for a trade opportunity. And those trade opportunities are probably going to be in tether pairs if I see a breakout or if I get a buy signal. And those opportunities are most likely not going to come from BitMEX unless I get a strong signal on ZERP, unless I see a big spike down on high volume and see liquidations. Probably just going to do nothing right now. Hey, thanks, MFCon. I appreciate that, man. Okay, guys, it's 1:55. We got to start getting out of here, man. We got to start closing the doors. You don't got to go home, but you guys can't stay here. I apologize. Thank you so much for spending your morning with me, your afternoon, your evening, wherever you guys are tuning into from. And don't go anywhere yet. We've got some stuff to talk about. All right. Naturally, we still got the X42 giveaway, guys. We're giving away 5 masternodes worth of X42. So make sure you guys go check that out. Highly appreciate it. 1,545 entrants. Let's see if we can't get to 2,000. 4 days left, guys. Don't have to spend anything. Don't have to buy anything. Just show some love on Twitter. That's all you got to do. All right. As I said, let's see here. My list of stuff to mention. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah, go check out our new blog. We got some pretty cool articles on there. If you guys want to go to constantinople.krakencryptocurrency.com, you guys will be taken directly to the Ethereum Constantinople hard fork countdown, so you guys can accurately see at which block the fork is actually going to occur. Make sure you guys give some love to Ben, who helped develop this for us. He did all this. He did all this for free, so he'd appreciate the support and help, guys. Let's see here. If you guys want to help support the show, guys, you can do the natural stuff. Hit the thumbs up, give us a sub, notification bell, make sure you never miss an episode. You can come over to Twitch, give us some support over there, show us some Twitch love, man, show us some sub love. We do highly appreciate that. Twitch.tv/KrakenCrypto. Or you guys, if you have skills with graphic design, we're still looking for somebody to help us out with thumbnails. If you want to be a contributor to our blog, or if you'd like to help us out with some videography and cutting videos, make sure to get a hold of us at contact@krakencryptocurrency.com. Links in the description down below. Also on our website, or you can DM any of the admins or moderators in the Discord. We are going to be having, again, we got a lot of questions about it. Kraken Cryptocurrency t-shirts, coffee mugs, all that good stuff, stickers, backpacks, logos, labels. We are going to be having a discount from starting tomorrow, running till March 5th. So 15% off everything in the store. So if you guys want to show us some love, we appreciate that. We get a small kickback from the sale of the merch. It's not a lot, guys. We do that stuff mostly for you, to be quite honest. I think that's it. Guys. I want to give a big shout out to proud supporters of the show, Spectre Security Coin, X42, MMO Coin, and Your Crypto Daily, guys. Make sure you guys go check them out. As always, man. Come on, just give it to MFCon. Okay, if you guys have any questions, thoughts, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, please leave them in the comment section down below. And I do want to pose a question to you guys. Kind of the interesting question today is, what do you think is going to happen with What do you think is going to happen with... Is it even listed yet? Okay, it's not on TradingView yet, but what do you think is going to happen with the price of ZERP on Coinbase today? You know, what do you think is going to happen? You think we're going to see pump? We're going to see pump V2? We're going to see dump V2, guys. What's your question? What's your answer? Leave them in the comment section down below, but more importantly, come into the Discord and keep the conversation going, guys. It's as much about the community as it is about the show. So, I've been your host, Justin Wise. This is another episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Hopefully today has helped crack cryptocurrency for you. And until tomorrow, guys, as always, trade safely.